Well, hey, howdy, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch, and this over here is my teaching assistant, Andy. And today is Sunday, and on my channel, that means it is Legends and Lore. And today, we're going to be talking about sea monsters and serpents. I know that I've been gone for 2 weeks now, I think, and I will give everybody a little update at the end of the video in case anybody's wondering where I went, but also I will be telling you guys about two projects and a second channel that I have now. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So I'm going to start with one of the cooler ones, the Kraken. Krakens are likened to giant octopi, but larger and with unheard of strength for any known animal. They are able to easily take on sperm whales and win. They have beaks like a giant squid, but instead of normal tentacles, imagine teeth on every sucker. There is no living equivalent, just things kind of similar, but that is the reason that sailors have feared this little-known creature for years. It is believed that the word kraken comes from the Old Norse word krake, which means an unhealthy animal or something curled and or twisted. We see in Norse mythology sea monsters that attacked the seafaring Vikings. Legends tell of massive squid-like creatures surfacing and taking down whole ships. These beliefs then started to spread, and we get more eyewitness accounts of the damage done by these kraken. Historically, accounts date back to the 13th century. Sailors describe encounters or sightings of a creature that could fit the description of a kraken. Giant tentacles rise out of the sea and destroy ships, though the consistency of these stories does vary greatly, which leads many to be skeptical a creature like that even exists. One of the most common theories is that they're just giant squid. They are deep-sea dwellers, which would explain the length of time between sightings, and if you were to see a giant squid, it could be very terrifying and you might exaggerate the encounter. Eddie Witter, ocean researcher, has said, "The reason we know giant squid exist is that they happen to float when they die. But we really have only explored 5% of the ocean, and I think we've explored that in the wrong way. I think we've scared a lot of animals away. So what about the stuff that doesn't float when it dies?" Another theory is that these sightings could be related to seismic activity. Some scientists believe that earthquakes or underwater volcanic eruptions could displace the largest deep-sea dwellers, pushing them to the surface briefly, where they encounter humans and boats. It could also very well come from anxiety or fear. Psychologically speaking, the vastness and isolation of the ocean can have some serious impact on people who venture out. There are real dangers when you go out sailing, recreationally or professionally. Storms or treacherous water, paired with known ocean predators, could have led sailors to imagining worse and worse fates or creatures. The power of suggestion is a powerful thing. Pair your imagination with something you don't recognize, and your brain will fill in the gaps. Speaking as somebody with thalassophobia, do I believe 100% that a kraken exists? Probably not, though it is a more believable creature than many. But you bet, I would be looking for signs every second that I would be in open water. It's a fear response, and it often stems from fear of the unknown. And considering we've explored so little of the ocean, we can't truly say yes or no a creature like that could or couldn't exist. The next creature is going to be the basilisk. Reputed as a lizard king, this legendary creature was first sighted in Rome, roughly 79 CE, though the word basilisk comes from the Greek basilikos, which means little king or little prince. If you're like me, and you had the first encounter with a basilisk description in the Harry Potter movie, you may be under the impression that it is just a massive snake. However, they are very similar to a cockatrice. There are of course differences. Now some of those developed over time, like some versions say it can breathe fire. Pliny the Elder actually wrote about them in his natural history accounts. There is the same power also in the serpent called the basilisk. It is produced in the province of Cyrene, being not more than 12 fingers in length. It has a white spot on the head, strongly resembling a sort of diadem. When it hisses, all the other serpents fly from it, and it does not advance its body like the others by a succession of folds, but moves along upright and erect upon the middle. It destroys all shrubs, not only by its contact, but those even that it has breathed upon. It burns up all the grass too, and breaks the stones, so tremendous in its noxic influence. It was formerly a general belief that if a man on horseback killed one of these animals with a spear, the poison would run up the weapon and kill not only the rider, but the horse as well. To this dreadful monster, the effluvium of the weasel is fatal, a thing that has been tried with success, for kings have often desired to see its body when killed. So true is it that it has pleased nature that there should be nothing without its antidote. The animal is thrown into the hold of the basilisk, which is easily known from the soil around it being infected. The weasel destroys the basilisk by its odor, but dies itself in the struggle of nature against its own self. Isidore of Seville, Roman scholar, who called this creature a king of snakes due to its death glare and poison breath. Later, Theophilus Presbyter wrote a receipt using basilisk blood that would turn silver into Spanish gold, which is a fabled treasure. The recipe called for powdered basilisk blood, powdered human blood, red copper, and a special type of vinegar. And there is also a version of the basilisk called a Baileycock in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. There are so many versions of the creature, it's hard to tell what exactly it does or can do. Its gaze is said to kill, some say it has poison breath, others denote its ability to kill not by touch, but rather the transitive property, meaning if it touches something you are touching, you still die. It is also something that you might have heard of, but not as a snake or even a mythological creature. They are a type of lizard that do exist and are currently abundant. Just a fun reminder that legends are often born in reality. Moving on to a uniquely Mesoamerican creature, we're going to be talking about Quetzalcoatl. Part of their religion and culture at the time, Quetzalcoatl is a feathered serpent deity. The earliest depictions that we have is from the Olmecs at La Venta and dates back to about 900 BCE. Most historians do not believe it's the exact same deity that has been documented later, but it still shows the importance of feathered serpents to those people. The first specifically religious depictions of the deity come from the Teotihuacans. They had a temple, aptly named Quetzalcoatl Temple, where they have depictions of a feathered serpent with other serpent heads alternating. In Mayan depictions, a snake often appears as an embodiment of the sky, while another snake would help a shaman see visions of the underworld. Though different groups saw the deity differently, they all had similar versions of a feathered serpent. Some did not believe them to be fully animal. In some illustrations, it's a mix of human, snake, and feathers. Now, I do want to say that I try to be as respectful as possible to any and all religions, especially ones that are not my own, so I'm not trying to say that they couldn't possibly be a god or deity. What I am saying is that the history of these figures is generally passed down through oral history of real people aggrandized. You also have those who think that, as they are similarly named, this could actually be a version of the Quetzalcoatlus, which was a pterodactyl. Though not a serpent, it is kind of feathered, though I personally think it looks more like fur. As I said in my video about unicorns, stories about dragons came after the discovery of dinosaur bones. Oral history is not always wholly accurate, and without the knowledge we have of now dinosaurs, maybe people thought they found the bones of the old gods. Moving on from that, I was going to talk about Typhon, but I felt one god was kind of enough, and I wanted to do a whole video about the Greek pantheon itself. But there being two different serpent gods got me curious how many other similar gods, goddesses, deities there are. So here's a brief list of the other ones that I could find. Naga is associated with fertility in Greek mythology. The Kukulkan is a Mayan iteration of Quetzalcoatl. Mamiwada is a siren or mermaid goddess in African mythology. Apep was the embodiment of chaos and darkness in Egyptian mythology. The Glykon was a snake god in ancient Rome. Leviathan are sea monsters found in Hebrew mythology, and there's also a biblical version. Agunua is the cosmic serpent god of the people of San Cristobal Island of the Solomon Islands. There are many more. I just wanted to get some from around the world to show you that it is not an isolated thing. If you know any more gods, please drop them down in the comments below. Also, if you have any other sea monsters or serpents, let me know that as well. And that is all that I have for you today. That was super fun, a little bit shorter. I probably could have included more sea monsters, but I thought the gods thing was too cool and that really just took my attention, so I hope that you guys like that part of it better than the rest of it. I think if I had to choose between all of them, I'd probably go with the Basilisk. just because there's actively lizards called the Basilisk, and so that's most likely kind of where that legend came from, so probably the most real, or at least rooted the most in reality. And I did say that I was going to tell y'all where I was. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I did post a quick update on Instagram after I missed the Sunday upload. So I started a new medication, and I just immediately felt like I was dying. And so I found the first ever medication that I am in fact allergic to. So I was incapacitated all weekend, and I didn't go to work on Monday, and so I've just been resting because I can't really handle much else. Let's see, what else did I say? Oh, I didn't mention it, but I got my hair cut. If somebody want to tell me I look cute, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you. But I did say second channel. So I have a couple of projects that I have been in the works for a while, or things that I've wanted to do for a while. And I didn't really feel like they fit on this channel, especially the one. But so I started a second channel, and it's Everything Else Ellie, kind of like behind the scenes. I called it behind the witch content, just because that's funny to me. But it's everything that I don't think fits necessarily on this channel. Any like DIYs that I want to do, or if I want to do like a story time while I'm painting my wall, or gaming content, I would move there. The biggest reason that I started that channel though was actually two different series. One of them is more, I'm calling it in my like script a podcast, you can call it whatever you want, video series, about the Grimm fairy tales versus the modern day iterations of them. Okay, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Cinderella, what the original stories were versus, you know, like the Disney movies that we see now, how they're different, and just kind of like go through all of that, because I have all this knowledge of that in my brain. Something that I've enjoyed doing like when I was younger is like reading the different stories and learning the history of it. History nerd. So there's that. That might be a little bit longer of a wait though. The other thing though that I don't want to put on this channel, because I don't want it to seem like I'm making fun of or making entertainment off of real people's stories when it comes to true crime. On my wall, I have a map, which I will put a picture of bigger so you guys can see it. It is a map of serial killers, where they were active, their names, what years. That's something that I think is very cool. It's real. Same thing with all of this stuff, it's very real. Except for a map that I'm hiding behind my chair. I'm not hiding it, but I understand that true crime has been commodity, what is the word I'm looking for? Made a commodity of. That's a better way to put it. And just made for entertainment. We have like the makeup and murder and all of that in the same vein. If you want to say that my tea time in true crime makes it seem like it's an entertaining story rather than reality, I can understand to a degree. I am on the belief that you need to talk about these things. It's the same thing with, like, I think that history needs to be talked about. Just because bad things happen does not mean you cannot talk about it. I think those things do need to be talked about. But I also understand where that line can be blurred between true crime of these real people with horrific stories and then a YouTube video that kind of makes it seem like it's just a made-up story. So I do try so hard to separate those and be on the right side of that blurred line. With that being said, I will put on screen what the map behind my chair is. It is serial killers with a C, so like the food. And so it's made up. It's 100% made up. It's like cinnamon toast bone cruncher, honey cruncher of throats, the Fruit Loop, stuff like that. That's goofy and fake, but it's like made into make it seem like it's a serial killer, and it shows where they were active and what years they were active and their serial killer or their criminal name. And so I have been toying with the idea of creating a series of those completely made up stories and then like telling you guys about that, like a murder mystery type of thing about these fake stories. Make sure they don't relate to anybody in reality. They're not similar to any, well, they might be similar, but they're not based off of any killer cases. So it's gonna be different variations of that. I have written myself a murder mystery based off of one of those. And I have also had ChatGPT write me a story based off of a different one and just kind of like alternate those. Like maybe my friends and family will write me one. I'll write some, alternate between murder mystery and just like a real story. And then maybe some AI stuff thrown in there. But I just want to like do that, and I think that's a really fun project, but I do not want it to be on this channel for my conscience. I need those to be on separate channels, but it is something that I have wanted to do for quite some time. And so based off of that, but also just like in general, maybe little like fake stories that friends or family or AI, or like maybe I'll just create fake cryptids and tell you guys about those, but I want that on a separate channel that is not associated with the real life stories that I tell. So if you wanted to go subscribe to that before I put anything there, I have absolutely no idea what's going to be the first video out there. Probably something gaming related. But I have taken up so much of your guys' time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.